Be like, what it be like you already know what it is. It's your boy Calvin Like My Way. Hey, today I wanted to make this quick video. Very, very, very interesting. Um, I've been is it catching up on some movies, right? Um, Various movies that have come out. Hear conversations on. So I said, hey, let me check out these movies and see, what they really about. Because uh, myself, my wife, we have various conversations, and I tell you, everything has a deeper meaning, right? So we uh we proceed to watch movie Get Out, right? Um, Supposed to be like a horror comic type deal. Uh, Very very interesting, right? Um, Really, people look at it as if it's a this complete racial type movie, right? But it speaks of many different truths. Okay, one in particular, organ stealing. You know, for people of color being kidnapped and taken all over the world. Body parts being taken out. That's real. Um, hey son, you still gotta do your homework. Yeah, I ain't forgot. Get on it. But another one, which I think some folks kind of missed out on, is the actual mind control aspect. From the sense of, like, the cats was getting the spoiler alert, right? um, Brothers was getting they their minds controlled by having the front part of their brain removed, taken out, and uh, a white host would in turn take over that body by putting their brain inside the black person's brain head, right? So they would control the body, but the black person would be there and simply not have any control, but they had like motor skills, right? So it's like they were just there for the ride. Um, and there's many folks, not just black folks, but for the sake of argument, black folks is being manipulated and having the minds controlled by various systems and programming and so forth, ideologies um, that simply manipulate them and use them. That use them as if they are fuel. For that can be you can look at that from the entertainment aspect, the athletic aspect, where individuals are used up, and then after the fact they just tossed to side. You know what I mean? I thought it was it was a very good movie. I won't say it was like great. Um, I've heard folks say it's like, oh, it's the next classic. I thought it was very creative in some ways, and I thought it was um, kind of paradoxical, I guess it would say, or it was kind of as if the movie was chasing itself around. It made a joke of something that was very serious, and yet took something that was very or made something that could be perceived as a joke and took it very seriously. Uh, but I say it was a very, very good film. The acting was pretty good, and it was really the deeper aspect of the film that I thought spoke to control, right? Spoke of manipulation. Many black men are being manipulated or have been manipulated and are being manipulated um, by sex, right? Um, by strange fruit, what have you. But they're being manipulated and coerced into situation in which they are being turned into fuel. What have you. I mean, we can go down the list of brothers that went that way and got destroyed. Uh, and by no means am I, speaking against interracial relationships by any means. But what I'm speaking of to is the manipulation of men by sex and by women that happen to be, various races. Um, but that was a big thing that stuck out to me, as well as the fact that the, the the separation of the main character from his best friend was the catalyst for him being taken over. His mind, him being in danger, and that actual relationship with his brother or his best friend was what exactly helped him to escape at at the end. It was that relationship, and many times those relationships, as such, are looked at as if they're not important or as they're disposable. When truth be told, like in the film, which is a nonfiction piece or fiction piece, right? But truth be told, you need to keep those close that genuinely care about you. Another film that I saw that had that was damn near the same kind of plot, same type of um, racially charged um, information or what have you. But I think a lot of people missed out on it. They were kind of looking at this film as well as if it was a simply science fiction, or even my folks that look at conspiracies and so forth, which and conspiracy if they fact, but they kind of look at this film as if it was simply the artificial intelligence side, or the aspect of technology taking over. And that movie that what I'm speaking of is Ghost in the Shell, right? Spoiler alert for this one as well. But this film we saw really the film took place in like Japan or China somewhere, right? And there was this chick played by Scarlett Johansson, I believe that's her name, and the chick from Avengers, right? Black Widow. But anyway, she was like a person that supposedly drowned or was hurt, and they took her brain out and put it into this artificial body, and with her brain or her ghost, in turn, moved this perfect body around, which in turn, where I think I said a lot of people miss out on the racial intent of this film, is the fact that we're in China, we're in Japan, what have you, and the perfect body, the perfect entities, these robot shells, what have you, were all white. It's very strange. Um, what you come to about the end of the movie, where you find out that um, the ghost or the brain that was used inside of the shell, she met her mother. Uh, she was a Japanese lady, right? So I mean, she was a Japanese girl, but the shell in which she was in was the perfect form. Was a white body, which was, you know, and it was all about control. It was about manipulation. It was about brainwashing. It was about taking away memories and plotting. Taking away memories and history from a people or a person group, right? And implanting a truth or a memory within that person to control them, telling them that the terrorists or what have you were the reason that she was ripped and killed away from her family, and that she was in turn created into like this cop entity that was to take these terrorists out. And the fact be told that these quote unquote terrorists were her people. Sound familiar? Very interesting. Um, and 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 in these two films, right? As I said, they are very informative yet tricky, because most people don't look at uh, entertainment pieces or see the propaganda in these films, and they just simply look at it for the entertainment aspect or value. Um, But what I would say is for every person, um, speaking to my African American cohorts, my brothers and sisters, especially, but also to the white individual, European, Caucasians, Russians, Africans, Puerto Ricans, Japanese, Chinese, Koreans, um, all people groups, Native Americans, Indians, Native Indians. Speaking of India, Native Americans, all people of this world need to look at their history, detailed, and not just take face value for what is presented to us as history. That we should look and love ourselves first. All people groups. This is not a ploy to incite racism by any mean or hate, but to simply influence all to love oneself first. Fall in love with your history first. Fall in love with whom you are, because you were blessed wherever you were planted. Whatever seed that was planted for you, and you came through whoever to get to where you are today. So to take pride in wherever you came from, that root that you come from, take time to research. Take time to find out who you are or why you are as you are. What bloodline, what people group, what heritage, rich heritage that you do have. Take time to love that. But not only that, but to identify with the spiritual aspects as well. Um, Not just speaking on race here, obviously, but researching and looking and discovering why, who, ask those questions: who, what, when, where, and how. Right? About your own self, about your heritage, right? And don't allow people to manipulate you with rhetoric. Um, a lot of history books that are in school teach one side of history. You really have to research people that were there or are still there, not just the side that won various battles, right? Because as we see in Ghost in a Shell, when people win the war, they create the narrative and they can tell whatever people group is left what's true. And with that created truth, we in turn have propaganda. We in turn have manipulation. We have control tactics by controlling the narrative. And we all should be at least self-present enough to create their or to form one's own opinion based off of the facts, uh, uh, and researching the research, what have you, as well as Get Out, right? If the brother had some, self awareness about himself, he would have known long before what was going on. But that's just two movies. There's a couple more I wanted to go over, but this video we're already getting close to 15 minutes. Um, but truth be told, um, we all got to dig a little deeper. Even when we're watching films, we have to look a little deeper. Oh, this was a good point, right? When we was watching Get Out, me and my wife, the uh, the father, after the scene when they finally get to the house, uh, the main character and his girlfriend, they get to her parents' house and they tell them about the deer that was hit with the car, right? And the man proceeds to say, "Oh man, every time I see a deer, we need to get rid of. Uh, Whenever I see one hit on the side of the road, I say um, something to the sorts of one down, 100,000 more to go, or whatever. Um, they're like rats. They're menaces. We need to eradicate and get rid of every one of them because they're overpopulating and taking over, right?" And as soon as I heard it, I said, "Wow, that was the narrative in which was, being propagated about brothers, you know, and how police, kill them in the streets." And my wife's like, "What? What are you talking about?" I was like, "You ain't hear it?" And she was like, "Nah, he's just talking about deer." I said, "No, there's always a deeper meaning, right? And as the movie goes on, and by the end she was like, "Oh yeah, you're right," But it was crazy, man. It's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of crazy ass people. Excuse my language, but it's true. They crazy as hell on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And there's people that's out there profiteering off of hate, profiteering off of being divisive, or creating lines in the sand when the truth be told, people don't even know what they're fighting for or what they're mad about. It's time to get to the root of the truth and find absolute truth. You feel what I'm saying? That's it for today. Hope this video was informative. I hope you check out the films. Hey, maybe down below, comment what you thought about the films if you've seen them, and give your thoughts and opinions. Conversation. Create. Let's create our own narrative. Start a conversation. Till next time. God bless. Chill.